Welcome to UpperEdge on Full Throttle TV for tonight's London Recreational Racing Cup Series powered by Road Life event. We're just moments away from getting underway with tonight's racing program. But first, let's take a moment to thank the people that make it possible. London Recreational Racing. London Recreational Contracting has gained a remarkable reputation as an industry leader in concrete, pool, and spa construction by focusing on three key factors: quality, creativity, and outstanding customer service. A proud sponsor of countless racing vehicles and events, London Recreational is a leader on and off the track. The Circle Alliance. The Circle Alliance is a digital and online global marketing firm, providing marketing, promotional, and advertising platforms. The Circle Alliance showcases a diverse collection of musical artists, male and female models, and business organizations using a vast variety of digital and online sources to market clients' products and services worldwide. The Circle Alliance is the vehicle for your vision. Our Expression Studio, a small digital studio with corporate-style passion, creativity, and capability. Our Expression has a diverse clientele base that extends from massive web development and CMS projects to the finest detail in a graphic design project for a low-budget race team. Motor Components. Facet Purelator self-priming high-lift electronic fuel pumps are the specified choice of both domestic and foreign nameplate, original equipment diesel and gasoline engine manufacturers.
And we welcome you to round 9 of the London Recreational Racing Cup Series, the UpperEdge Racing League here at Pocono this week. The London Recreational Racing Pocono 200. Again, round 9 this week, just about halfway through this season. And Michael, we come from one difficult track to the next. Both seem fairly easy, especially with this one missing a corner, but all three turns completely different from each other. And seeming like early here tonight, a little bit of difficulty getting off that final corner. What's it going to take for these drivers to get around here quick and possibly into victory lane?
Well, that's one thing that's very interesting about this place here, Justin, is it's almost exactly, the same premises as Indy. But instead of having two corners you got to get off of really good there, you really want to get off all three with such long straightaways. Going into 1, 2, and 3 itself, that creates really good opportunities to pass. The biggest place you want to be good at, though, is turn 3, where they're having the most difficult. Is the place where they're going to want to be the best, because the sooner you can get back on the gas and make that straightaway as long as possible, that's going to be your best drafting and passing opportunity tonight. So just like last week, getting into the corners is going to be your best friend here when you want to make a pass.
Last week we also did see Michael Fennelson get his first win of the season last week at Indianapolis. What's the chances we see another first-time winner here with really the top three in the championship rounding out the boards here in practice right now?
Well, that's one thing. This is a very, very difficult track. Indy seems to lend itself to first-time winners just because it is so difficult to pass. This is one place, to me, that's going to really benefit the veterans of the series, really benefit people who are really good on the long run. And the people that stand out to me is going to be Michael Araya, and we got a couple, other ones that are really good on the long run. But to me, I just got to go with Michael Araya, and I think he's going to be the man to beat.
Absolutely, not too bad of a shot as well. Currently sitting first on the practice boards with about 15 seconds to go here. Just about to start our qualifying here. And then Carl Shedd currently second on the board. Corey Hoover third. Austin Hartenfels fourth. And Shane Terry in fifth. One guy we don't get to talk about a lot here. But practice not really going to matter. It's going to really come down to where you're going to start here in qualifying, with the track really changing throughout practice. You don't get a really good judge of it.
Yeah, the track's going to go through several transitions probably during the race, especially with these guys probably going to be pitting for tires before they need gas. I've heard, lap 30, even, to 60 to the finish. So it's going to be depending on what kind of strategy. We're going to see multiple strategies like we had last week. So it's going to be very interesting in seeing which strategy pays off. The 14 of Michael Fendelson could use the same strategy they used last week and maybe steal a victory here again. So always, watch out for different types of strategies that might get somebody to victory lane.
Absolutely. And qualifying just starting out now. 15 minutes on the board. Going to be 2 rounds here. And the top 8 will advance to round number 2 here. Long ways around this track. Lap times about 54 seconds. Not really going to see 53s here. I don't think they'll get that close to it. And right now watching the 94 of Adam de Blasio there. Michael, we're seeing it's looking like 2 lanes there in turn 3. You can either go towards the bottom lane there, towards the rumble strips, and it seems like some guys are migrating up towards the wall through that corner.
Yeah, this isn't, this version that we have here on iRacing isn't the repave version. So this is the, the surface back from, I think, 2010, maybe even 2009. But right before they did the repave, about a year before that, they put, a big, new strip of asphalt in turn 3. And that was the go-to for the NASCAR Sprint Cup drivers, and it's also the go-to, for the iRacers here tonight. That offers the ability to go, like you said, go from the bottom all the way to that patch. But if you get just above that patch, you get into all those marbles, and you're going to slide up and hit the wall. So you got to be really careful running that patch. You got to be patient. You got to be smooth. But ultimately, it's a really good way to get a good run off the corner. You can roll the center faster, and you can get back on the gas a little bit sooner. But I think you're going to have to make a pass on the bottom, maybe do a slide job, get on the gas a little bit sooner than that guy, use up the racetrack and get in front of him on corner exit to slow down his momentum. So we're going to see a really good racing in 3 and 4 tonight. Or sorry, 3.
And I just saw it there at the 28 of Ryan Dyson there. A lot of guys seem like they're having trouble getting off turn 3. Michael, is there any thing you can come up with that might be the cause of that with these drivers?
To me, it's very simple. As race car drivers, these guys know that the key to a really good lap here, at Indy, even at road course, take Watkins Glen for example, straightaway. You want to have the maximum speed on the straightaway because that's the easiest way to gain time on your competitor. Is just use your natural horsepower. Use something that's almost out of your control. But to do that, you have to get a really good run off the corner. And like I said, with 3, if you're going for a really good lap time, for me, you really want to go through 3 on the patch, get back to the gas as soon as possible, and it's going to start getting a little edgy loose, on exit. So you really just got to be committed, stay in it, and that's why we're seeing so many self-spins, is these guys are so committed because they know if they can just get to the gas, stay on it, their lap time is going to be really good going down into turn 1.
And it seems like turn 3 probably going to be the trouble spot here tonight. Was talking with some of the other drivers. It seems like that rumble strip going to be one of the trouble spots, and up towards the wall as well, and just watching the exit of turn 3. So safe to say, I think turn 3 there. Again, no turn 4 here, the tricky triangle, and seeing Jamie Dyson a little bit loose through that corner, it definitely lives up to its name.
Yeah, but it's really how you look at this racetrack. For some there's 4 corners. For others there's 6. So on and so forth. For me, I look at 3 as 3 and 4. At other racetracks we count 1 corner as 2. Here this is one really big corner, so I count it as 2 as well. So occasionally I'll say 3 and 4, but I'll try to mind my P's and Q's tonight because I know how upset the people at Pocono get when you say 4. But yeah, it's going to be extremely difficult. If you're going to want to give up a corner here tonight, you're going to want to give up turn 2. It really doesn't mean too much for your lap, because if you can get through 1, get down the long pond straightaway, then get through 2 decent. You don't even have to get through it great. If you just kind of maintain your lap time, maintain your speed, get a good entrance into 3, let it roll, and then get back on the gas and get a good exit, that's going to be where your time comes from tonight. It's not going to be necessarily from turn 2. If you get the other 2 wrong and get turn 2 really well, it's not going to benefit your lap time. But if you get it wrong, then you have the other 2 corners to kind of make it up.
Absolutely, and that's going to be one interesting point to point out there is 3 corners here, really no room for mistakes, because coming off the corner, any mistake there, you got a long straightaway ahead of you to lose a lot of ground, and especially off 3. Don't want to make a mistake there, because you got that ever so long straightaway into 1 there.
Yeah, and one thing that's different from here than Indy, it's almost like when they built this racetrack, they had, the idea of going 3 and 4 wide, maybe 5 wide into turn 1, and you see, at Indy, you have the wall on the front stretch. You can only fit so many cars, or you have, the grass kind of like you do at the rest of the racetrack around here, going into 3 and so on and so forth. But here, the front stretch is so wide. It's almost like they did it on purpose, so these cars could go all the way down. So if somebody's trying to block, you're going to have to block 6 lanes. If somebody has a good run But then it also gives you the opportunity that if you have a good run, get a good draft, you have plenty of options to try to beat that guy down into turn 1. It just depends on how far you want to drive it.
Absolutely, and that wide straightaway can definitely, should it happen, lead to a lot of exciting restarts here. Normally these guys don't get too crazy, but should we get a late race restart, these guys might go, as you said, Michael, about 6 wide down that front straightaway. It can get pretty hairy and pretty crazy.
Yeah, just because it's so hard, to get positions later on in the race. Because as we know, these UpperEdge guys are so good, and some of them are so good on the long run that your only chance that you're going to have to beat them is maybe get in front of them, slow their momentum down. We saw late in the race last week that Michael Fennelson was able to hold off the faster Michael Riot just because he had track position. He could kind of control the entrance into the corner. Last week Michael Riot told us that Michael Fennelson did a really good job getting into the corners, not overdriving it and getting really good exit up off, because there's no other way that he could make that move. It's almost the same situation here, with the straightaways being so long that if you get a really good runoff, you might have a chance at defending your position if you're able to get in front.
Absolutely. So just about 7.5 minutes here before the end of qualifying, and on top of the board, and even again, we don't normally get to talk about here, Shane Terry in that 38 currently on top. Again, still a long ways to go here before we get to the green flag, but could be a factor here tonight, Michael.
Yeah, he's somebody that has really, really good car control. I mean, I've seen this guy sideways so many times. I believe we saw him sideways 3 or 4 times at Atlanta, and this is one of those places that almost kind of rewards that. Not saying so much that you want to be sideways, but it's almost take the Kyle Larson driving style. Somebody who's going to put it out there on the edge. Somebody's going to get to the gas maybe a little sooner than everybody else. And like I said, it's all about making the straightaways longer. If you can get to the gas, a millisecond before the next guy, that could be half a mile an hour. You get it back to it a second. That's a full mile an hour before you get down to the corner. So you've already created a gap, in a little bit of time on the guy that you're trying to compete against. And the same kind of goes for here as well with Shane Terrian. He's able to commit. He trusts himself to get back on the gas and be just a little bit sooner. So that's something we're going to have to watch tonight and later on in the race, if he's able to continue to commit later on in a run, or is that going to burn up his tires?
All right, so qualifying round number 1 here, just wrapping up. The car is pulling it down into pit road. Going to take a quick break there and then send them out again for round number 2. So the board right there, Shane Terrian currently on top. Carl Shea going to be rolling out 2nd. Austin Hartfell's 3rd. Chris Wright 4th. Michael Fennelson 5th. Sean Powell 6th. Adam de Blasio 7th. And Michael Araya 8th. Those will be the 8 rolling out for round number 2 there. And we'll get fresh tires on it and then bring it back out. One thing that I guess you could say somewhat shocks me is the 44 there, Michael Araya, currently 8th, just going to barely make it into round 2 there. But like we know that qualifying doesn't always give Michael Araya the justice he deserves there. He can always find a way towards the front there, and it can sometimes end in a win that he doesn't always have the best car, but can somehow make it up there and make the most of it.
Yeah, he really strives on the long runs. We see it every week. It's almost like he uses the first run of the race, the first 30, maybe 40 laps, to kind of just get himself in position, close enough to the leaders. But it's like once the second half comes around, he's a completely different driver. He's got the short run speed, he's got the long run speed. It's almost like he just changes gears and just picks up another tenth. And I think we're going to kind of see him do this here in qualifying too, because he's right around the lap that he ran in qualifying. Actually, his lap that he ran the lap that he ran in practice would only move him up one spot, on the racetrack. So I'm curious to see if he's going to be able to pick up 2/10 to get, with these other guys, or if he's just going to be stuck back there. But we know that he's going to be a factor later on in the race.
All right, so the cars, as you can see, rolling out there. The top 8, just about all on track, with the exception of the 41 of Sean Powell. And they'll have 4 minutes to try and improve their time. Don't normally see a lot of improvement in the second round, but can always be a different circumstance at the different tracks. And it's just so interesting to see a lot of these guys, as the 14, Michael Fendelson, going to go around there. Barely going to make it into pit road, but it's just so interesting to see these guys with the different lines they take through 3. It almost doesn't seem like that top lane should work most of the times, but somehow they find the speed to get out and get a good time.
Yeah, and like I said, when they did the repave job, I'm not necessarily sure if that's what made that lane so good, or that makes it so good in the sim here. But it's just something that's really, it's something that I look forward to when I come here. I know it's something that other people look forward to. You have different options going into one of those difficult corners. I think that these upper edge guys are going to be at during the year. It's almost like I think it's from Thompson Speedway, but my closest comparison would probably be New Hampshire. It's a New Hampshire corner that's 3 times as big. So it's nice having those multiple grooves where you can go low, high, make a pass, run side by side. It definitely brings out the competitor in you, and it's a lot more fun when you look forward to going into a corner and you have more than one groove.
Absolutely, and it also leads to more passing opportunities. And this track, it seems like just about 2 corners of it, 1 lane only, and it doesn't leave for a lot of opportunities to set up passing opportunities. And again, really only probably going to see that down the straightaways and possibly in 3.
Well, the one thing that's really nice here is that later on in the run, turn 1 becomes a completely different animal than what it is at the beginning of a run. For me, I was trying to stick to the rumble strip in turn 1. You get low, make a good arc, but I've seen multiple people, and I've even seen some here, switch up their lines, run low 1 lap and then high the other. I think the turn 1's gonna, widen out a little bit here with this new dynamic track, to where it's able to run low and high and make a good lap time.
And just refreshing here real quick. There we go. Had another car hop in there, so just a car in the 83, and that'll make a 20-car field here tonight. So a lot of cars on track should lead to a lot of action, you'd hope. And 80 laps here tonight, from what we've been hearing, pitch strategy may be about the same as it was last week at Indianapolis, around 25 to 30 laps. And from what they were saying, going to be coming in more for tires than fuel here.
Yeah, that's going to make it extremely interesting. These racetracks the past few times around with this new dynamic track have almost become, more like in Atlanta, where tires are more important than maybe even going than, trying to do one less stop. You just get beat by new tires. So it's all about timing, the strategy right. Last week, I think Michael O'Reilly trying to go a little bit longer, cost him a chance at the victory. We're going to have to see here if, somebody is going to try that, or somebody's going to try, a little bit different strategy, see if they can pull off a victory. We know that we talked to Michael O'Reilly, and he said he's going to stick with, the strategy, that he has planned here. But we saw last week that he had to alternate from that when he found out the 14 of Michael Pendleton was so fast. So there could be another opportunity tonight for all these drivers to kind of change their strategies when they see something working.
All right, and as the clock counts down here, only about 5 cars left on track. If they advance their position, we'll let you know, but we'll run through this field here real quick. Shane Terrian looked like he's going to start on pole here tonight. Chris Wright going to start second. Carl Shedd third. Austin Hartenfels fourth. Michael Fendelson fifth. Sean Powell sixth. Adam de Blasio seventh. Michael Araya eighth. Nick Massey ninth. And Corey Hoover going to round out the top 10.
We have Ryan Dyson in 11th, Joseph Tice in 12th, Raleigh Grant Davis in 13th, Tom Story in 14th, Jacob Adams in 15th, Trevor Rapolo in 16th, Jamie Dyson in 17th, Trevor Elam in 18th, Briar LaPratt in 19th, and Jess Carr rounding out the top the top 19 in the field tonight.
And one advancement we must take a note of. Carl Shedd just barely beat out the 12 of Chris Wright there, so he will be starting on the front row in second. That 45 car will. So now we're just waiting out the clock here, and I guess we'll have to do our weekly picks here. Michael, I'll start out with you. Who you got here tonight?
Well, I really want to go with the 44 car, but I had such a good run with his teammate last weekend. I'm going to go with the pole sitter and Shane Terrian to pick up Evil Motorsports' second win of the season and go back-to-back.
Well, darn, you kind of stole my pick there, because I said last week and I have to stay away from that 45 car here.
Don't do it.
I'm going to have to stay away, but, you know, with Chris Wright starting 12th there, starting third in the 12th car, I think I'll pick him, at least for a wild card. Didn't seem like he had the most speed there, but starting third is always a good starting spot there, so I'm going to pick this 12 car to win here tonight.
That's a very interesting pick.
Yeah, hopefully that works out, but I had my mind set on that.
Hey, worked out for me last weekend.
I had my mind set on that 38, and you stole that one away, so I didn't really plan out a backup, so that's why you always...
So none of us are picking Michael Araya.
Well, you know what? Maybe I'll go with Michael, since you're going to have to stay with him, so change that around. I'm going to pick that 44 car here. Starting 8th, not the best starting spot. They're about mid-pack, but as we said earlier, you can always find a way up towards the front.
Watch tonight be the night your boy gets his first victory of the year.
He's been close, and hoping me not picking him can ultimately lead to a victory here tonight. Starting second.
I like that, sacrificing for the greater good.
Well, I'm going to have to, since I've picked him basically ever since Atlanta. So just waiting out the clock here, just waiting for a couple guys to grid here. And then we'll be set to go for 80 laps here tonight. Same distance as last week at Indianapolis. And looking like just about the same everything in terms of pit strategy, mileage, and number of laps here tonight. So it's looking like actually going to be an 18-car field here tonight, with it's looking like Trevor Elam and Briar LaPratt disconnecting from the server. So they'll leave 18 cars on track here tonight. So with these guys looking like they're going to be coming in for tires more than fuel, I have to wonder if this track going to eat up these tires quickly, and how much we'll see slipping and sliding around, and maybe how crazy that this initial start will be on that front straightaway.
I think the initial start will be kind of calm. You know, we've seen it from these guys before, where they've had, you know, big straightaway where they can make passes. They understand that it's a really long race. But for slipping and sliding, we are definitely going to see plenty of that. You know, my challenge to these guys tonight, are we going to be able to go caution-free at a much different and much more difficult racetrack than Indy last week, where they went caution-free? So that's going to be my challenge to them tonight. You know, I would love to see it. You know, I think it's great racing. Shows how talented these guys are, but it's a lot more difficult track, and we've seen multiple drivers spin out off three already. So something we're going to have to keep an eye on, and cautions always make things a little different up at front. You know, somebody might have the opportunity to stay out a little bit longer, pick up a caution. The good thing here is the leaders will probably not get lapped by their cars. You're probably looking at, if you are within, I'd probably say 10 seconds of the leader, you probably won't get lapped coming in for your pit stop. So it's going to be something that we're gonna have to keep track of throughout the race who's not gonna go lap down during pit stops, and then who is going to be a lap down during pit stops. Because if a caution comes out, it could greatly change the race from a competitor standpoint.
And saw it last night. Not sure if you're going to want to stay out too much longer than the guys coming down for their green flag stop. So pace car about to pull in, and that'll leave the field in the hands of the 38 Shane Terrian here. You can see just how wide that front straightaway is, and we are green for 80 laps here tonight. And already fanning out down the wide front straightaway.
We can see him 3 wide there, almost 4 wide going down here into turn 1. I thought it'd be a little bit more, a little calmer, but I think these guys realize that they're going to have to make some moves early if they want a shot later.
And really tight down the back straightaway there.
Yeah, you see him almost 4 wide there. This is a place where you do not want to be 3 or 4 wide. You barely want to be 2 wide going down here into the tunnel turn. As a 33 car thought a little bit better if it used the curve. But that place you do not want to be any more than 1 wide, or you're not going to have a very good fast lap, as it looks like Carl Shed has now taken the lead from the 38 of Sean Terrian.
I thought that 33 was just about to spin out his teammate there, the 29 of Austin Hartfeld. It looked like he got a little loose entering through there, but a pretty antsy start there, and these guys will, I'm sure, soon calm down there. But as you said, 45, Carl Shed going to take over the lead here on lap 1, and he will lead the initial first lap here. Shane Terrian still in second.
Yeah, we've seen in the past few weeks that the 45 car of Carl Shed has, almost used a different strategy.
Oh, and the 5 actually. 5 going to go around there. Thought the 12 was going to go around. I didn't think turn 1 was going to be too big of an issue there, but already on lap 2 here, the 5 of Joseph Tithe just about losing it. We'll go back and take a look at how that happened.
What a save, though. I mean, in the grass, looks like you crossed over the nose. I can't see whose car that was.
It'd be the 28 of Ryan Dyson.
What a good save in the grass, though. That's incredible. That's a difficult place to save it and put it back on the racetrack.
Absolutely, and just about had 2 cars lose it there. I thought the 12 was going to go around. He just about saved it without any issue, and so Chris Wright will fall back to 5th. Joseph Tice, unfortunately, going to fall to the rear of the field here in 18th here tonight, so he's got his work cut out for him early here, but better to have it happen early than have it happen towards the checkered flag.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see him, work his way up through the field and see what kind of position he can, muster out of tonight after a difficult start.
And already it's looking like a 3-way battle for the lead there. Shane Terrian didn't lose too much ground to Carl Shed there, but now here comes the 29 of Austin Hartenfels trying to get that second spot away from the 38. Like it'll be side by side exiting 3 there. 29 is going to have the advantage as they race side by side. Should they get to that in the corner, that's going to be a great sight for Carl Shed.
Yeah, like I was saying before, the whole mess right there coming in at 2 the lap before, that we've seen a different strategy out of the 45 the last few weeks. He's kind of been patient, let cars get away and then run them back down later in the run. So now with him being in the lead, I think he's going to use that same strategy. If the 29 gets to him, I think he's just going to let him go relax, know that this is a long race, tires mean a lot here, and that it's more important to be good in the later of the run than, early on, unless it's a 10-lap shootout. But I think he's just going to, if he gets to his back bumper, let him go. And, Carl Shed's looking really good tonight so far.
Absolutely. And as you said, we still got a long ways to go here. Shouldn't be too much in a rush. The 45 just hoping, as you said, Michael, going to take it easy here and realize that can't really win it on lap 10. It's looking like he's sticking to that middle groove here. It's looking like through 3 and 1. It might be his downfall there. Looking like 29 going to have a bit of a run down that back straightaway. Going to have the nose entering too.
Yeah, it looks like he thought a little bit better of it there. Looks like he might stick it under there anyways, but he showed a lot of patience there. I think he's going to go the low line here, try to get under Carl Shed, maybe get a good, turn center. but that's really going to up. He's going to follow him. But if he would have went down low, I kind of think the 38 of Shane Terrian kind of thought he was going to stick it down low. And if he'd have got to the bottom of the 45, as it looks like the 29 is going to lose a position there. But if they'd have got side by side on the straightaway, that would have given the 38 a massive run down into turn 1 where he would have had a shot at making it 3 wide. But it looks like he might go up there and take the lead himself anyways.
Yeah, Shane with a very powerful move through 3 there. Basically took it away from the 29 there. And as you said, looking for the lead and just looking through the Packer, everyone singled out pretty quickly here and just at this point minding their P's and Q's and like this 38 really ready to take over this lead.
Yeah, that was a really good recovery from the first few laps. It looked like he was trying to get his bearings back, from him losing, the battle in turn 1 right off the bat on lap 1. But it looks like he's kind of figured it out, got himself back together. It looks like he's going to go after the lead right here, maybe do some side drafting off the side of the 45.
Yes, sir, going to be side by side with the 45, going to be able to pull him down the straightaway there. The 29 was looking to take advantage, but didn't have the momentum to do so.
Yeah, it's a very difficult decision, that 29 has to make when he gets a shot at a good run. The 39 car might be taking, the corner slower in to get a better run off. The 29 has to think, am I going to dive it down here, maybe disrupt his line, try to get the position. But it looks like we have a really good battle for the top spot. These guys aren't running away from each other. They're all right there. And slowly but surely, the 41 of Sean Powell has snuck his way in there off a few passes that I've seen him made from the high side of turn 1.
And the battle for second going to continue even longer there. Shane Terrian wants back from the 29. Looks like it might be side by side. I'm thinking that 29 probably going to have the advantage.
Oh, it looks like Michael Araya got into the wall.
And that's going to check the whole field up there. You can see some right side damage. So an incident early here for that 44 Michael Araya. And unfortunately looking like my pick maybe in a little bit of trouble here early. Looked like it happened off 3. Possibly got into that outside wall entering 3, I'd have to imagine. Yeah, just thinking in the gas too early there, and unfortunately nails that outside wall.
Yeah, you don't see that mistake very often from the 44 car. I don't think we've really seen him make a mistake all year. So that's very surprising to see, especially so early on in this race.
Absolutely, and as I said, better to have it early than have it happen later. But he's going to drop back to the 10th position there, and a little bit of an issue early, but still has a long ways to go to correct that. 38 and 29 look like they're going at it again.
Yeah, the 44 car right now, his best friend would be a caution, so he can come in and get that damage fixed to see if he's going to be somewhat comparable and competitive. But from my point of view, that was a really hard hit. He was full on in the gas until it was too late, and then he got off it. But by that time, he was already pounding the wall. So, like we said, it's a very unforgiving track, unforgiving corner, and a mistake from so far the best in the series this year pretty much proves that tonight.
And a change for the lead there. The 29 Austin Hartenfels got to the inside, entering 2 there. It's looking like Carl Shen may be losing 2 spots here. The 38 thought about going underneath, but put Austin Hartenfels back to the top spot.
Another driver we don't really talk about too much, other than when we go to the road course, is the 33 of Corey Hoover. He slowly but surely worked his way up from, I think, about 7th starting spot, pulling up into 3rd now. So he's made his way in several different lines as well, kind of like the 41 of Sean Powell. If we look back, we also have Chris Wright there, your original pick. So a lot of different players coming up to the front of the field. It's really nice to see.
Michael, is it a fair comparison that this track is somewhat like a road course in feel? Because, each corner is different. Got some long straightaways there in the middle, but sometimes these guys will downshift out or through the corners as well. But it seemed like this track may be somewhat comparison to a road course. I don't know how you feel about that.
To me, it almost is what it is. It's a roval. You got different corners, different feels. The part that makes it feel like a road course is you have so many different braking points because they're not all the same corner. In an oval track, you kind of have that feel of You know, the RPMs, you can hear it, you know, but in this one, you're reaching different RPMs, different sounds, different feel. You know, if you know turn 2 is like Indy, you know, so you can kind of hit that one. But turn 1 and turn 3, you know, it's really just a feel game. And if you have a good feel for road course, when you get on the brakes, when you get on the gas, you know, ultimately it can help you out here.
It's looking like RCA Racing has got a good feel on this track here tonight. All of a sudden, they're 1 and 2. That has put Carl Shedd back to the 4th position. Shane Tarrant's been able to take over that spot, or the 3rd spot. And all of a sudden, it's looking like Carl has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, you know, like I said, I think, you know, the past few weeks he's proved the patience in the first half. You know, we're 11 laps in. I think his closest competitor in the past few weeks, you know, has already pounded the wall. Ooh, it's the 41 car got loose.
I was going to say, that 41 basically dirt tracked it around turn 3 there. I want to take another look at that because it was quite an amazing save there.
And right behind him, it looked like the 48 did the same thing as well. So, you know, definitely unforgiving, and he got behind him, the 44 of Michael Arai. You know, he's not losing too much ground. You know, definitely dealing with the damage the best he can. But right, like I said before, he's going to need a caution quickly to get all that fixed.
Yeah, that 41 basically had it. He was struggling through the entire turn 3 there to get it really hooked back up. But as you said, going to fall behind or fall in front of his teammate there in the 9th position. And we'll just regroup him. It's looking like he's having even more trouble there as he exited too.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those racetracks where, for whatever reason, you get just so loose off trying to get back to the gas. You know, I ultimately think if you made the straightaways a little bit shorter, you wouldn't see so many cars getting sideways. But the straightaways are so long, you know that you just have to get back to the gas. So, you know, you got to be committed. And once you're committed, there's really not much you can do but play with it a little bit, maybe get out of it, or just turn that steering wheel right, close your eyes, and pray for the best.
So up front here, Austin Hartenfeld is pulling out to just about a second lead there, 0.8 of a second he has over his teammate, the 33 Corey Hoover. And not too far behind them is Shane Tarian in third, Carl Shedd 4th, Chris Wright settling into 5th there. 13 on lap 13, 12 laps complete here.
Yeah, so far, you know, I'm so impressed with the 29, the 33, and the 38 being 1, 2, 3 right now, running their own race. You don't see them, you know, chasing, you know, everybody else. You see them going out there and passing, you know, the likes of Carl Shedd, you know, of Michael Arai early on in the race. You know, you see these, you know, different drivers up here in the top, what is that, 6, you know, names you don't really hear a lot. So it's really, really nice to see these guys up here battling with the guys we normally talk about.
Yeah, with the guys we normally talk about, Carl Shedd in the 4th position, but already one of the guys that we thought may have a shot at tonight's win in a bit of trouble, Michael Arias. So it's looking like tonight may be a, as I said at the beginning of the broadcast, maybe a good night for a first-time winner. We already have one up front right now, and one 3rd, and one slotted in 5th. So it's looking pretty good in terms of your chances if you haven't won a race this season.
Whew, these guys are just getting so loose off 3. I wish that we had a camera so we could just watch 3, you know, up in the corner all night, because that's where all the action is coming from. It seems like. So what's going to make this very interesting is, you know, getting on pit road here. We saw last week that Carl Shedd on his 2 pit stops was about 2 seconds faster between getting in on his in lap and getting out on his out lap than the 14 of Michael Fennelson, which created a massive, I don't even remember what it was, I think it was a 4-second gap with new tires. So we added 2 seconds with new tires, but he also added 2 seconds getting on and off pit road. So that's something we're going to have to watch for tonight with these guys getting on and off pit road. Getting off pit road here doesn't really mean too much, because you just go right back out on the racetrack. It's flat out, you know, and that's about it. But getting in, you have such a long, you know, basically from turn 3, you have a pretty good distance until that pit road commitment line. So you got to get all you can get and slam on the brakes and try not to speed.
As you said, just watching the exit of turn 3 there last time around, Sean Pyle had the rear end really out in the air, and looking like everyone got through it that time clean. But I agree, we may have to set a camera over there in turn 3, because it can get pretty wild. But Austin Hartenfeld is already pulling out to just about.
Oh, we got a spinner off too.
It would be the 19 of Jacob Adams, looking like he has regrouped just a little bit and missed the the inside wall there on that back straightaway. So now he's in a bit of trouble here early. We'll go back and see what happened there. He was really
looks
loose.
like he just looks like he just got loose. You know, almost a third of the way through the corner, and he kind of stayed in it, was committed to maybe straighten it back up, but it just never happened. But a good save again through the grass, not to spin that thing around. But look how look at how competitive the top 10 is right now. They're all just right here. You can just look at one shot and see half the top 10, and they're all sideways. Look at the 41. I don't know if you were on the 41 there, Justin, but you need to go back and look at his exit that he had from one there. I mean, he was left, right, while going straight.
Yeah, he's been struggling with that car for ever since the green flag has dropped. The car just doesn't seem very happy, and it definitely looks like it's a handful. It's just about every corner we seem to talk about Sean Powell there. Definitely.
Take it from me, I have experience doing that, and he's wearing the back tires out, and eventually I think it's not going to be fun to drive anymore. So he's going to have to kind of relax, back it down a little bit, and realize that it's lap 18, a long way to go. Still haven't even made our first pit stop. You don't want to spin the car out and cost yourself some good positions. Absolutely,
that was going to be my next question there. At one point, when rear end's been out more times than you can count, at one point do you say, all right, maybe we should just calm it down a little bit, maybe settle in and realize that we still got a very long ways to go here before our first green flag stop?
Well, if you watch Saturday's race, I'm probably not the best person to ask because I haven't quite figured that out yet. But for me, really, as we see the 14 get sideways there, but for me right now, it's a little too early. It's a blast to watch, and I'm sure he's having fun doing it, working really hard. But right now it's a little too early. You're burning off those rear tires as he's going to get loose, and that's going to make it a lot harder to keep your position for one. And hang on to any spot you get. But, later on in the race, you got to do what you got to do. For me, Saturday night, it was, the same situation that he's going through, right now. Early on in the race, you calm, relaxed, you know what you're doing. But later on in the race, he's going to get even more sideways than he is now, and it's going to be very entertaining to watch.
Absolutely, and the one thing we got to keep pointing out is that these guys, even though they keep getting very sideways, not too many people actually spinning it all the way around. And again, we've been caution free so far here tonight, already about 1/4 through this race, and already it's been pretty entertaining, at least for us. I'm sure these guys aren't having too much fun slipping and sliding like that, at least extremely like that 41 has.
Yeah, this is one of those races where right now you're it's the 12 car. I mean, every time I'm trying to talk about something else and it just happens. So, but anyways, what I was saying is this is one of those racetracks where it's almost, monkey see, monkey do. At some racetracks, if you're behind somebody and they plow into the wall, you almost kind of follow them into it. This is one of those places, they get on the gas, you get on the gas, you both get sideways, and nobody really loses a position. And it's entertaining to watch and to relive after the race. But right now, these guys are so frustrated that they just cannot get to the gas. But later on when we talk to them, they're going to be like, man, this was a blast. Probably the most fun I've had all year. Even for the ones that might have spin out or might have been in an accident, it's just so much it's so much fun to hang it out that these guys right now are just having a blast.
Absolutely, and thinking you may want to save this sideways stuff for the dirt that's coming in a few months. And the 38 going to bring it down pit road. 12 as well, Chris Wright. So our first round of green flag stops here, starting on lap 21.
Speaking of the 12 of Chris Wright, I think maybe last lap he was working on his pit entrance and he just didn't like it, so he aborted it. This one looked a little bit smoother.
Yeah, that might have been the case there. Either that or trying to get down pit road and possibly just a bit too sideways there, so threw it off that way as well.
He was just too sideways going full speed.
Seems like a lot of these guys are struggling with that.
Yeah, but our job up here is to try to make these guys look like the best out here. So, in my opinion, that was the best attempt at a pit road entrance.
Well, I don't think we have to do anything. These guys are already showing why they're the best out there. Going just about 180 down these, exiting the corners here, just about all the way sideways there. It's looking like the 29 going to bring it down pit road there. Corey Hoover going to follow as well. And that'll put Carl Shed back out to the point there, still needing to make his stop.
Yeah, that's something interesting that we don't normally see. For one, we're seeing pit stops, I think, a little too early, especially from all the top running guys. But for two, we normally see the 45 car be the first one of his competitors on pit road that he's racing against. So this is definitely a change of pace from the last few weeks.
Absolutely. It's looking like the people who gave us that guesstimate on when the first green flag stop was maybe either lying or, as you said, these guys coming in just a bit too early, feeling like these tires may be gone here only with 20 laps in.
Well, I think the person we're going to have to look out for here is the 44 of Michael Arai when he comes in and gets his pit stop. If he's going to stay and try to fix that damage, or if he's just going to deal with that how it is and try to hold out for a caution.
Could be a viable strategy. It's looking like we're trying so hard to get that caution, but these guys just barely hanging on to it. So Nick Massey currently in that second spot. Sean Powell going to work his way up to third with the about top three pitting there. I'm just waiting for these guys to make their stop, and the real question is going to be, when is that going to happen? Whether that's going to be lap 25 or this next coming lap, or lap 30. That was the guesstimate we were giving. Have to see if these drivers are going to be able to stick to it.
Believe it or not, somehow the 5 car of Joseph Tice is only about 6 seconds back from the leader of Carl Shed right now after taking his early excursion through the grass. So with all these guys fighting for position, getting a little sideways, he's been able just to run nice, clean, smooth laps, not push his car too much, and he's actually closing in on the 45 car of Carl Shed, seconds-wise. So he's not necessarily out of it at the moment.
Absolutely, that was the glorious thing of having it happen on lap 2 there. It was really tight there off turn 1 there with 14 to 94, but lap 2 definitely have a lot of time to make up for that mistake, and definitely Joseph Tice showing that he has a pretty fast car here, working from 18th all the way up to the 9th position here on about lap 24. Tell you what, this battle between the 94 and 14 is pretty tight. They've come off just about. Have to see if it's 3 corners here, but side by side, and looking like that's going to be the case off 3 here. So definitely hard racing all the way around the racetrack here, and a lot of drivers not giving a lot of room, but I'm sure having a lot of fun while doing it.
Yeah, that's one thing that's really nice, about later on in these runs is, like I said, we've seen multiple, lines here tonight, a lot of options to pass, and it, makes the drivers push a little bit harder than necessary, so they get sideways. We see passing like that. Like I said, these guys are just having fun right now. They're enjoying being out there while they're trying to figure out when they're going to pit, which shouldn't, in my opinion, should be, right around within the next 5 laps.
Well, you'd hope so, and really going to be the question of where these guys who pitted 5 laps earlier, we'd have to guess, going to be here once everybody else cycles around.
Yeah, my worry there is that they pitted, a little too early. Maybe these guys are banking on a caution. I'm sure they can make it fuel-wise on whatever strategy they're going to do. But we've seen the past few weeks just what 5-lap tires, such a big difference. It seems like it hurts you more at the start of the run if you have 5 less laps than, in this situation right now. Those guys are, catching the leader at a rapid pace, running almost 2 seconds faster than Carl Shed. But it seems like the roles kind of reverse when Carl Shed's going to go in and pit, and he's going to be running those faster lap times for a lot longer time. So something very interesting that, we're going to have to keep track of what kind of lap times these guys are doing and how far the 45 is behind and how fast he can, track these guys back down, as it looks like he's coming in right now.
Yes, sir. Here comes the 45.
The 44 as well, the 24 and the 5. I mean, look how close the 5 is to the back of the 44.
Yeah, definitely made up a lot of ground, and I only imagine pitting a little bit later than those guys who came in earlier. Just to let you know, those were the leaders there, so it'll be interesting to see where they cycle around, especially with these guys have just about 5-lap fresher tires.
Well, those guys are actually going to pass them right now. So they're going into turn 1 right now. The 38 is now going to be technically the leader. So these guys are going to be pretty far ahead by the time these guys come out.
Yeah, they'll have a gap, but I'm imagining those fresher tires is going to eat them up if what we've seen from this 44 as a, I guess you could say, experiment there. It's going to show us any sort of progression for these guys who are...
And the rest of them are coming down this time. You can see, as the 41 gets a little side. He's even sideways on pit road.
He can be sideways all 3 corners of this track on pit road, just about anywhere there's racing surface there. If he wins, I'm sure he'd be sideways in pit road or in victory lane. So yes, this will cycle around everybody for their green flag stops. So Shane Terry going to cycle around to the lead here. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Trevor Apollo, Tom Story, and Jacob Adams going to be the 3 to stay out right now. But once they come down, that'll hand over the lead to Shane Terry, and with Corey Hoover now taking over what will be the 2nd position.
So the gap for me from first to the 45 car is almost the full length of the front straightaway. That's how much of a lead those guys are able to gain on those 5-lap pressure tires.
It's going to be the question, once everybody sort of gets into their groove, how quickly are they going to be able to catch them? Carl Schitt's...
And it looks like we have a battle for the lead with the 33 car trying to get on the outside of the 38 there, who stole the lead away from the 29, it looks like.
Down the front straightaway there, Corey Hoover not going to have enough of a run. Well, I say that, now it's looking like he's going to put the nose underneath and going to have the preferred lane entering 1. Question is he going to be able to clear Shane as they exit 1?
It looks like the lead is 11 seconds. Sorry, that was the wrong. The lead is 11 seconds from Trevor Apollo to Shane Terrian. And then back to Carl Shedd. It's about 11 seconds back to him as well. So it's an 11-second gap between the eventual first place runner and Carl Shedd, who stayed out 5 laps later.
We're going to want to watch those times as Carl Shedd really on his own here on the track right now. As you can see, Corey Hoover is taking over, is really loose there in 3. Not sure if the camera did it justice there, but it was looking like he was dirt tracking around 3. And now Austin Hartenfeld is looking like he's going to try and take over the 3rd spot, or what will be, excuse me, the 2nd spot away from Shane here.
It looks like the 14 car of last week's winner might have had a penalty, had to come back down pit road.
Yes, I have to imagine something, probably speeding there, trying to get it really low down there, exiting 3. So definitely going to cost him, coming to about 50 laps to go there, and caution free so far this race. Not sure he's going to have a lot of time to make that up.
And we got a new leader. The only benefit here for the 14 of Michael Fennelson is he's still got those 5 laps fresher tires. So he's going to be able to make quick work of these guys up front here and just hope for the best, hope for a caution. And then he'll be back on the same back on the same lap and the same cycle.
You saw there the 19 of Jacob Adams coming down pit road. Trevor Apollo and Tom Story still out on the racetrack, and this 14 Michael Fennelson, that'll just show you what fresh tires can do for you. It's not looking like he's as we have, I believe that's the 37. Yeah, he's actually hit the inside wall there, exiting 1, and we'll take the tow truck to pit road. Very unfortunate for him. We'll go back and see what happened to that car. Oh, exiting 1 there. We want to go back just a little bit farther. Again, he might have gotten loose off turn 1 there, overcorrected, and unfortunately ended, overcorrected there, and then...
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It was almost, you see him get loose off 2, right where the safer barrier ends. He's sideways. Then he has the wheel back straightened up to the right, and that's when the front end hooks and just puts him right back into the wall. And that's definitely a heavy hit. And then I'm sure he's going to have another heavy hit into the inside wall. Oh, yeah, for sure.
One interesting thing to note there, I didn't really see any sort of brakes being applied there. Normally you'd see the rear tires lock up, but none of the sort. So, unfortunate, was looking like end for the night for Tom's Story there.
And that was just the caution, that just wasn't for Michael Fendelson. If he'd have got that caution, I think he'd have been right back good to go.
Absolutely, and 1 lap down the 14 car is the 83 of Jesse Carr there. Currently, the only other one a lap down is Tom Story off the track on pit road there. And it's looking like the 9 Trevor Apollo did come down pit road. He's actually coming to his box right now, so that'll give the lead over to the 29 of Austin Hartenfels, to 33 Corey Hoover, not too far behind.
So the gap now is 8 seconds between the 45 and the 29.
I really want to look at the lap times as well from the 29 to the 45. Not too much of a difference that time around, but we'll see what it is this time around. Shane Terrian about a second away from that leader.
Yeah, for me right there, the times really, I'm gonna check again this lap, but if those lap times are true, that shows me that the 45 car is just running consistent laps. He's not running to beat the guys in front. He's running to keep up because he knows later on in the run he's going to have much fresher tires, and he's also going to be able to go much farther on fuel. So why run them all out just to catch him? Why not let them come back to you later on in the run, rather than burn your stuff up trying to catch him?
Yeah, 3/10 was the difference there, but one key thing to look at, as you said, the 45 looked like he's running pretty consistent times, only about a 10th difference there from his last time around. And with Austin there, it's about 3/10 was the difference there.
And the 48 car behind the 45 car just ran a 55.5. So he's 3/10 faster than Carl Shed. But again, is the 48 car burning up his stuff just trying to catch them? Or is that a true lap time? To me, Carl Shed can run that kind of lap time the 48's putting out. He's choosing just to run them down slowly. Let them come back to him, not over push his stuff. You don't see him getting sideways. So it means he's not getting on the gas as soon as he could. He's just being patient. Something we didn't see early on in the season, but something he's learned, the last few weeks.
And the 29 got a little bit loose exiting one there, and that allowed the 33 Corey Hoover to take advantage, and that'll put him to the top spot there, exiting 2. Oh, and a little bit loose there as well, exiting 2. And these guys are wearing me out up here. It's just about loose every corner there.
I just want to point out that the 5 car is now back into the top 10.
Absolutely, and that'll show you what, again, incidents happening early can do for you, especially when you got a fast race car, as it looks like this 5 Joseph Tice has just about every week.
As he gets a little sideways off 3 there. Yeah, he's really consistent, really good on the long runs. But, I've seen 2 mistakes out of people that we just haven't seen mistakes out of. The 5, and the 44 car made mistakes early on in the race, and they're still paying for it. They're still working their way back. Definitely not the 9s I think they were wanting, but a quick caution or any type of caution will definitely benefit them later on in the race.
Absolutely, and with 45 laps to go, so far it's been caution-free, but still have just about half of the race to go here. Halfway, coming in about 5 laps there. And all of a sudden, the battle for the lead heating up again. The 29 Austin Hartenfels wants it back, but going to have to get control of his race car before he can challenge for that lead. little bit loose there exiting 3, but he'll regroup and try it again.
Yeah, another thing is with these guys racing side by side and burning up their tires trying to lead, try to get that clean air, they're also hurting their tires more and more by running side by side. They have to pinch off the corner a little bit. They're having to run different lines than they're used to. So they're using a different method to get in and off the corner, and that's just slowly but surely letting the 45 car catch him just a little bit more without actually having to work his tires.
Yeah, the gap just about 7 seconds from the 45 to this 33. Well, these guys race side by side, as you said, Michael. It's just going to allow the 45 to close in even quicker and not have to push too much harder. As the 38, everyone's just about dirt tracking it around this track, and now the 29 looking like he's going to have the nose. No, he's going to have the full car. This 33 may just be letting Corey have it there. No, he's going to have the preferred position entering 1 there.
But right here, the 29 car is going to do up and under and get a really good run up off 1 here, where the 33 is going to get sideways and loose, and he saves it. But right when I was going to say that, 33 was going to have to get back to the gas really hard to try to stay in front of the 29. But these guys are doing such an incredible job of keeping it under him. It's incredible.
Well, Corey may have missed the apex there in 2, and that's going to allow the 38 of Shane Terrian to close the gap up to him. Should have I was going to say a battle for second there, but now the 33 is going to sail it in and set his sights again for Austin Hartenfels there.
Yeah, and the times for the 29 and the 45 are just drastically quicker, almost 6/10 of a second. So, he's definitely catching them by a good margin. We're gonna have to see what happens, when he gets to him, if he's able to make quick work of him.
Shane tried to get something done there in 1, couldn't do it, so he'll fall back in line in the 3rd position there. It's looking like we may see Austin start to pull away, as we did before the green flag stop started on about lap 20. Definitely looks like that 29 definitely has the speed underneath him tonight. Just going to be the question of, as we get later into the run, as it looks like this 29 just does have the longer run speeds, as if it's going to be probably about a 2-stop race, depending on when these guys come in next. It's looking like it may just play into the hands of this 29, as the long run speed seems to be his best friend.
Yeah, right now the 29 car is, he's racing the racetrack, but he's really racing the 45 car. If the 45 car can get to the back of his, of Austin Hartenfeld's 29 car, if he can get to the back of it before he has to pit again, he's going to have to make a decision. Is he going to try to hold him off, maybe wait a little bit longer, or pit at a different cycle? Because I think the 29 car from the first run and this run has, like you said, has an extremely good long run car. He suffers a little bit on the short run, but once it gets past, a good 15 laps, he seems to be the class of the field. So my question is going to be, with the amount of laps that we have left, is he going to be able to calculate enough and see if I pit on, lap 55, is having, well, I don't even know. How many laps are they running here tonight? 80, just like last week, Justin?
Yes, and what should be a 2-stop strategy. I'm thinking, as you said, they're going to have to calculate it out. I'm not sure exact fuel numbers here tonight, but they might have dug themselves in for a 3-stop race here, should they not be able to go the full fuel run here.
Yeah, and that's another thing. If they can make it on a 2-stop strategy, if they kind of do like Michael Fennelson last week, I think he pitted on lap 25 last week, and then pitted on lap 55. So if they can kind of do a similar strategy there, they pit on lap 22, pit on lap 52, I think they should be able to make it. It'll be close, but they should be able to make it. But if the 45 car is able to catch the back of the 29 car before he has to come down and pit, then he knows that with the same amount of laps left that he just had, that 45 car is going to be on his back bumper with 5 lap fresher tires. So he's going to have to make a decision. Am I going to wait maybe 2 or 3 laps, maybe try to hold him off, slow him down, then come down pit lane so it's not such a big disadvantage later on, or is he going to stick to his own strategy? But if it's a 3-stop strategy, then I just don't see these guys having a shot at the victory.
Well, I'm not sure how long they can go exactly on fuel, as these guys were going to be coming down more for their tires' sake than fuel. So they're staying out longer than their 20-lap mark last time around, but still have a fairly steady lead over that 45. Carl Shedd hasn't made too much advancement too quick. Going to be taking this 4th spot away from the 12 of Chris Wright, but just about 5 seconds is the gap from these guys still.
Yeah, but even with passing the 12 car of Chris Wright, he was still 0.2 of a second faster. So this lap right here is going to be my real test to see how fast he's going to catch these guys. Because I think these guys have to stay out to at least, they got to be lap 50, maybe even lap 52, for them to have a reasonable shot at it here. So to me, Carl Shedd has 7 laps to be on their back bumper.
52 laps is a very long ways away. He's got to run about 10 more laps, and looking like these cars kind of calmed down in terms of the slideways, I guess you could say. Haven't seen a lot of it from these cars ever since this 29 started pulling away, so could be the product. These guys just kind of calming down and saving their stuff at this point.
As you say that, the 29 car gets sideways.
I guess I should just stop talking about cars getting sideways, because every time we talk about it, it seems like 2 or 3 more cars have that same issue. But
it is entertaining to watch, though. But the one big thing there is Austin Hartenfels ran a 56.8 the last lap, and Carl Shedd ran about 0.3 faster than that as well. So he's definitely catching him. It's just going to be a matter of when and how fast he gets past the cars that are behind him.
well, Carl did get by now the 48 of Nick Massey there, so that'll put him to the 4th spot, about 4 seconds back, closing in on about 3.5 seconds back of these 3 leaders.
Yeah, you know, I think right now is the transition to where the 5-lap pressure tires that he has is they just work just a little bit better, you know, on exit of corner. So he's able to get to the gas just a little bit harder and not get sideways. So he's getting making the straightaways a little bit longer, you know, having better straightaway speed. He's able to get into the corner. You know, we're going to start seeing the time being taken out really quickly.
Absolutely. Is looking at the times now, it's about a fair margin, about 0.5 of a difference between this 45 and 29 in terms of their previous lap times this time around. Still about 0.5, so definitely has the speed to catch these cars. It's just going to be the question of, does he have enough time before we get back to our green flag stops?
And that's going to be the real question. Like I said, the 45 car has the advantage. He has newer tires and he can go longer on fuel. You know, to me, it's a little bit puzzling why the 29 car pit with, you know, I think he had a good, 2-second lead over the 45 car. Why he felt the need he had to come in so much earlier is one of the questions that I'm asking myself. Because he's about almost a second slower last lap this time. So the time's definitely coming down. You know, we just got to watch to see, because he's starting to get a little sideways, which he's pushing it a little bit more, because he knows that the 45 car is coming. He's running out of laps on these tires, because this is the farthest he's gone in a run. You know, he went to 22. You know, we're much farther along. He's on lap 25 now of this run. So this is really unknown territory.
Yeah, they what I'd have to imagine their last scheduled pit stop was going to be around lap 40 if they were going to stick to the 20-lap strategies, but currently on lap 46, so closing in on, I guess what would be the rest of these guys' final stop around lap 55, I'd have to say.
You know, one thing that I kind of want to say, but I don't really, I'm not sure, but in my opinion, it's almost like the 45 car is baiting the 3 cars in front. The reason I say that is we saw the fast lap times a 48 car was able to put down early on in that run, about 0.3 faster than Carl Shedd. So I know that that time is out there, and I know that Carl can find it. So my question is he just running just fast enough to run these guys down, to make these guys let their guard down, saying, okay, if there's a 25, 30, if we pit with 30 to go, then he couldn't catch us in 30 laps before, then we're okay to pit now. But in real world, he just wasn't pushing, and he knows that he can run these guys down in less than 30 laps. So, you know, it's kind of like the same strategy that Michael Araya put out. You know, is it the opportunity to steal a win for somebody who hasn't won with a pitting early strategy, or is it a veteran knowing, you know, that the longer run is going to matter at the end?
We saw there the first guy to make his green flag stop, and might be his final one. Don't exactly think you can go about. Excuse me, he can probably make it to the end, but you saw there the 12 of Chris right there making his stop, so thinking he might be good to the end. But again,
that's a long way. I'm not.
Yeah, I was going to say
that's cutting it close, but definitely on tires, it's cutting it close.
I was going to say, I think that might be another case of drivers probably pitting a bit too early here. We're probably around 5 laps away from our last scheduled green flag stop, and the battle for the lead is heating up here. Well, you saw it there, the 33 going to take it away, and the 29 really loose, and the 38 coming to pit road there.
Hey Justin, I want you to go back real quick and look at the 41 car coming out of 1 on lap, which is this lap right here, lap 49. It almost looks like he hits a bump in the racetrack and just goes straight into the wall. I don't know if I've ever seen that bump there and it treat a car the way it did his.
Well, we'll take a look. This was the last lap here, lap 48. Hopefully, this track can be fairly bumpy. That's a little bit strange there. I know he's been having handling issues with this car all night as we go back to him loose off 2 there, but
looks like the 29 car is coming down pit road. But he did the exact thing that I thought he was going to do. As soon as the 45 car got to his bumper, he came down pit road. So he was still in front and made it to pit road. I think that's a win for the 29 here. He was able to stay in front for about 27 laps.
absolutely much longer than we've seen here before with really cars that have had 5-lap fresher tires. Took him really about a full run to catch back up to the leader. Again, much slower than we've seen before. So that tells me that this coming down now with 30 laps to go, even if the 45 stays out maybe 5 laps longer, he should be in good shape here. Question is if his teammate, the 33, can get to him, as this time he didn't pit with him. He's going to pit a lap later. Question is going to be what company this 29 is going to have as we get into the run.
Yeah, that's very, that's a lot different than before. I think that's a big plus for the 29. I think the big deal with the 29 last, this past run is the 33 car was always on him and the 38 car was always on him, pressuring him. So he was always trying to get that little bit extra off the corner to do it. Now he's going to have a little bit clean running. The cars are going to be a little bit farther behind. So he's going to be able to kind of relax a little bit and just run his pace. Right now it's all about these guys saving a little bit of tire while these guys are still out here running around. Because it looks like they're going to have about 25 to go when Carl Shedd and Nick Massey come down.
Yeah, I'd have to guess that's when they're going to make their stop, unless... I thought the 45 was going to pit, but looking like you just got a little bit sideways. It's been the story all night, but...
And the 44 car of Michael O'Rourke is coming down when he was in third. Amazingly enough, with that right side damage, still being relatively competitive, is going to bring it down with 27 to go.
As you can see, right on the back bumper of that 45 is Nick Massey in that 48. When these guys come down, again, that's going to be their final stop. So this is going to be, unless we get a caution, been caution-free for 52 laps so far this race. This will be the run to the checkered flag, again, if we don't get that caution. 41 coming down pit road, just finishing up his stop there. 44 as well.
Nick Massey actually gets around the 45 car for the top spot, and the 45 car is going to take that opportunity and head down pit road. But that was a really good, surprising last run out of the 48 of Nick Massey, because he actually came in a little bit behind the 48 the last pit stop and was able to run him down and stay on his back bumper through the whole run.
Absolutely. One of those guys that we don't really talk about a lot unless it comes down to pitch strategy. So definitely has the speed under that 48 car it's looking tonight Nick Massey has. The question is going to be when he comes down and where he will be for this final run. We've already seen this race that 5-lap fresher tires, Michael, it's looking like they don't really mean anything in terms of time on track. It doesn't really seem like you get a lot out of it.
To me, I don't know. I think there's still a lot out there that the 45 car just did not show the run before. I mean, we saw the 48 car bust out, you know, I think, what was it, a 55.5. So it's out there, you know, or 56.5, whichever one it was. But either way, you know, the speed is out there. I just think, you know, that with the gap, I'm just not sure if the 45 car was kind of laying back a little bit on that run, not showing his true pace.
Speaking of that, the 48 down pit road as well as the 94. That's going to give the lead over to this 9 of Trevor Apollo. A late pitter last time around. It's looking like that may be the same story here.
Yeah, you know, he's struggling here a little bit tonight. I thought he'd be a little bit better. You know, this is a racetrack that kind of suits his style, you know, of long runs. So I'm a little bit shocked he's having such, you know, such a difficult time here tonight.
And once he pits, actually I don't even think it's going to have to wait that long, as 38 of Shane Terrian will cycle out to the lead, pitting, I believe, maybe 2 or 3 laps before this 29 did. And Michael, all of a sudden, that's 29 who pitted a lap ahead of Corey Hoover. Corey is now in front of him and will cycle into the second spot.
Yeah, that's a little surprising there. And both these guys are running down the 38, who pitted about 2 laps before those guys. So then it's definitely getting interesting, that's for sure. So
this 38 out front by at about 3 seconds over the 33 of Corey Hoover, and I was going to say once this 9 pits, but not going to have to wait that long, as I said. So Shane Terry going to take over this lead from Trevor Polo. Trevor's still needing to make that final stop with 25 laps to go, coming to 24.
Yeah, that was a move there, just hoping for a caution. Hope you got lucky enough to grab one where everybody's going to come down pit road and you got some track position. But right now, you know, the 9 cars are probably going to come down pit road here in a little bit. But I'm truly impressed by the 33 tonight. You know, he's got this place figured out, short run and long run.
Saw there Trevor coming down pit road, so unless we get a caution, this will be the race to the checkered flag. Pit stop should be all but wrapped up now, and really you're going to have what you have right now to the checkered flag.
Yep, you got to run what you brung at this point. It's going to be a great finish because we got the 33 and the 29 car catching the 38, and we have the 45 and the 48 catching all of them. So we could have a 4-way battle, maybe 5-way battle for the lead by the time the checkered flag flies.
Carl Shed about 6 seconds back of this 38, so a little bit closer than he had last time these guys made their green flag stops. So I have to see if that could be a difference maker in terms of who wins this race, because Carl Shed definitely has the speed, just doesn't have the track position, it's looking like.
Yeah, we're going to have to pay attention to, for me, I think the 38's only chance here tonight is he's been extremely competitive, and I think he's been about the same speed as the 33 and the 29. He just hasn't, you know, to me, he just hasn't had the speed to, you know, be better than them. He's been able to keep up, you know, and participate in their battles. But for me, the key for him is being out here in fresh air, being conservative while these guys are trying to battle back there, get side by side, wear out their tires a little bit. Because right now, you know, he's the point. He just has to focus, worry about his car, make sure that thing doesn't start getting sideways. He doesn't really need to push until they start getting to his back bumper. And at that point in time, they've probably worn out their tires a little bit, so you can afford to start doing that as well. So it's kind of a cat and mouse game right here coming to the finish.
Absolutely, and it's looking like Clean Air has really made all the difference here tonight. With the 29, once he got out there, it's looking like once he didn't make a mistake, he just kind of set sail and left that 33 hanging. It's looking like that may be the same situation for Shane here, coming to 20 laps to go. Not much improvement with that 45 of Carl Shed, but Nick Massey just a little bit under 6 seconds the gap from this 38. So, Michael, I'm thinking the guy we may have to watch here, not the 45, but possibly this 48 of Nick Massey, because he got around Carl, and looking like he may have the better track position and possibly the better car here coming towards the end.
Yeah, but you know, I don't know. I still feel like that the 45 car, you know, he's being patient and biding his time. You know, I don't know. We've seen just such a big difference in the 45 car the past few weeks that you kind of have to start trust what he's doing. Maybe letting these guys just run out a little bit, because even, you know, at the rate of speed he's running, he's still much faster than the 38, so he's still catching him. And once, you know, we get down to it, you know, he's going to be able to maybe lay the hammer down a little bit farther or a little bit harder off these corners, and you know, that's going to make a big difference later on.
So as the two behind this 38 of Shane Terrian catch a bit of lap traffic, looking like that battle will start to wage just a little bit more here. The 29 basically on the rear bumper of Corey Hoover. Looking just behind them, the 48 has gotten by the 12 of Chris Wright. So really, besides this 14 of Michael Fendelson, who unfortunately has not been able to catch the break he's been looking for here tonight, really the only thing standing between him and this front pack.
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing is last lap, it was about an 0.8 of a second different between the leader and the 48 of Nick Massey. That right there just puts me in the mind that the 45 car has that speed in the back, you know, almost in his back pocket, knowing that he can run these guys down. Because honestly, once the first two and the first three start battling each other, because they're starting to catch him as well, you know, they're going to start battling, get side by side. It's going to slow them down. You know, we still have 20 laps to go, and 20 laps to go around here is extremely difficult. And we saw these guys on lap, you know, the first time on lap 20, in the first run, and the second run on lap 20, getting sideways, starting to get loose, you know, starting to have trouble, you know, handling these race cars, and them going the farthest they're going to go in a run on this last one is going to be extremely exciting to watch when we come down to it.
Absolutely. So just under 20 laps to go here, and Shane Terrian's gap has really not changed at all. Still just about 2 seconds. As this 33 now going to catch the 19 of Jacob Adams. And really these two sandwiched in between lap cars, and Nick Massey not too far behind. And, Carl Shed really stuck behind this 12. As I say that, he's side by side with him now, and Really just haven't seen the car. It's the thing, I'm really close at turn 3, apologies for that, but I haven't really seen the car out of this 45 that we've seen that started second and really was really good throughout this first half, I guess, of the race.
Yeah, Nick Massey is just running really, really fast lap times right now. I mean, it's much faster than the leaders. He's eating away at the positions. He's going to be on the back bumper of the 29 car. Oh, as it looks like the 12 and the 45 car might have just gotten into the wall together.
We'll go back and take a look at that. They've been really close these past couple laps, and
he either hit the wall or got close to it as you can.
I'll tell you what, the 45 just narrowly missed that outside wall just by inches. That 12 car was safe exiting that corner, but that 45 almost had a handful as they're going to be side by side down this front straightaway. 17 laps to go, and it's 38 has a pretty steady lead out front still. As now we got a mess back here for second and third. Lap cars look like they're going to be racing each other, and this 33 has gotten clear of that. Austin Hartenfeld is not having the same advantage.
Yeah, these lap cars being in the way, it's a difficult situation because these guys actually have fresher tires, so they can probably run a little bit quicker. But they have to understand this is a battle for the lead. And if it was the other way around, you wouldn't want, a lap down car kind of hurting your momentum, being in your way. So it's a difficult decision, especially for last week's winner, Michael Fendelson. He's just so close to that caution. But right now he's got to understand that he's not battling for the lead. He's a lap down, and let these guys go up there and chase, ultimately maybe the first win or their second win of the season.
And Fendelson is currently the first car a lap down. So I guess really he's racing that 19 there for that spot. That's probably why they were racing so hard. But, these guys have tried so hard to get that caution. But, Michael, we've been 64 laps green with 16 laps to go. It's looking like this may be another caution-free race here. And not too uncommon here for the UpperEdge Racing League.
No, these guys are extremely good at understanding their cars. All these guys do a lot of testing during the week, do some team testing, do some solo testing. So, this is all nothing new. They've been through these long runs. They understand, they prepare very heavily. But one real quick tidbit, I'm curious to see who's going to catch who first. Is the 33 car going to catch the 38 first, or is the 48 car going to catch the 33 first? Because they're equally just slowly catching each other.
Well, I guess that'll be the question here as the laps keep winding down here. As the gap as long as just about 5/10 from the 33, as you mentioned. So this, as you said, it could come down to a driver winning his first race of the season, or a driver winning win number 2 of the season.
Yeah, the 14 car being behind the 33 car is hurting him a lot. It's taken away his concentration trying to have to worry about that lap down car. I'm a little surprised at a last week's winner that he's pushing so hard, knowing that he's in the lucky down spot. There's not a lap down car really in the sights of our leaders, so really no reason for him to be pushing as hard as he is and getting in the way of a really close battle with less than 15 laps to go.
As you mentioned, that 48 is closing in a hurry. 3 seconds away from this leader. Just about 0.8 of a second back from this 29. Has the speed under the car to track down these leaders. Just going to be the question of, is he going to run out of time to get to the lead here?
Yeah, and look at the 14 car throwing it in there, getting a little sideways. Definitely slowing down the 33. The 33 car cannot be happy about that.
Well, I can't imagine he is, especially with that 14 just about losing it underneath him. Racing for the lucky dog is one thing, but lap down racing side by side, really. But the leaders there in the 33 almost loses it there, and that's going to allow Austin Hartenfeld to take back that second spot there. And we'll try to track down the leaders and have to go by this 14, I guess, before he can get to Shane Terrian. 13 laps to go.
Yeah, that's just not a situation that you really want to put yourself in, because now later on in the in the season, the 14 car is going to get raced the same way he got raced
Oh,
there.
the
As we
caution's
got
out.
a yellow.
The caution's out. The 41 of Sean Powell, he's been fighting that car all night, and now he is spun around on the front straightaway. Unfortunate, but Michael, this just about changes everything here. But before we get to that, let's take a quick look at what happened to Sean there.
He just got loose off of 4 and almost hit
Yeah.
the pit road barrier.
Just about.
I know we were talking about that, earlier on, but ultimately just got loose. He'd been hanging on to it all night, and eventually you're just gonna swipe left too many times, and it's just gonna spin out. But that changes everything. Boy, is this gonna be interesting.
Absolutely sets up for a restart with... Before we actually get to that, this 14, he was fighting so hard for the lucky dog position. He's actually going to get it here. These guys come back around. I imagine a lot of these guys are going to come down for a pit stop there. And thinking going to get a restart here. Thinking around 9 laps to go. And just think about how much stuff this changes. The 38's lead there is gone. The gap from the 48 to the leader basically gone there. And this sets up for a question as well. I'm sure a lot of these guys who are going to be coming down pit road, do you take 2 tires possibly and try and get yourself a better position there? Or is it just going to be 4 and race with what you got with what should be 9 laps to go?
I'm gonna say 4. You got to take 4, and the 44 car finally gets to fix his damage. And there's so much going to be going on when we go back green here. We're definitely, this right here is the point that I think I've been looking forward to all race. We're going to get a restart with less than 10 laps to go with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 people in the top 6 that haven't won this year. So this is going to be extremely interesting to watch.
I think this is just a recipe here for an awesome finish, as I imagine a lot of these guys coming down pit road gonna get those fresh tires on and basically race with what you got here for these final, thinking maybe 8 laps to go when we come to the restart.
I kind of want to I don't know whose favor this really plays into, as it looks like the 12 car might have went through his box a little bit, so he's going to have a slower pit stop. But I don't know who this plays into the favor of. The 48 car's been so fast. He's actually going to pick up a position on pit road. The 48 car is going to, I think, come out second. He's fast. I mean, it's going to be something to watch.
Absolutely, Nick Massey is
and the 5 car is finally back in the game now.
And Nick Massey going to pick up that position from the 33 of Corey Hoover there.
And the 29 car lost 3 positions on pit road.
They're not too lengthy of a stop for that 29, just about a second slower than the rest of these guys, but
he's asking his pit crew why now of all times to have a second slower pit stop. I mean, that changes the whole game. It's one thing starting second, now he's going to start 5th. With the 5 car that's been extremely fast, finally got his track position, finally got its time back. We're going to be in for a shootout here.
The one thing I have to question is if this 41 is staying out, or just has to come back around to come down pit road. I would imagine he's going to want to stay out, but it should put the 38 of Shane Terrian there in the lead. And the 48 of Nick Massey in second. Corey Hoover will restart 3rd, Carl Shedd will restart 4th, and Austin Hartenfels will be 5th. Yeah, there goes the 41 of Sean Powell. And should get 2 to green this time around. Yeah, lights on the pace car stay on. So, let's say buckle up, because this should be an exciting 8 laps to find out who wins this race.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Michael, it's looking like you picked a good one here tonight. The 38 Shane Tyrion in the lead, but it's going to be the question of if he can hold it with restarts with what should be 8 laps to go, and we know we can get pretty crazy here, especially with this wide front straightaway.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see him 3 and 4 wide. I think we're going to be 3 wide for the lead going into 1. It's going to be something really exciting. You know, we really don't get to see these guys, you know, in a late race situation where they get to go, you know, where they have to put pressure on everybody and go all out. You know, because normally, you know, we finish under green where we don't even have a caution period. So something very interesting we get to watch. I think the last one, you know, was at Dover. You know, and we saw how interesting that finish was and how complicated that all was as well. So, you know, it's going to be exciting. You know, we're going to be 3-4 wide on the front straightaway.
Absolutely, and if the start of this race was any indication, I think that gives you an idea of how crazy, even more crazy, I should say, this restart will be. All right, so coming around to what should be 1 to go this time. So go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I think the 38 car actually has a choice here. Top or the bottom. You know, he got beat on the initial start when he took the bottom. So, in my opinion, I think he needs to take the top here, get that good run through the center of 1, and really get that really good run off the corner, make that straightaway as long as possible, as it looks like he's doing. Because on the start of the race, you know, he got blown by I think 2 cars there on the start because he got pinched down on the bottom.
And we've really only had 1 shot at it, so might as well try something different, especially if you're if you know it might be a little bit better on that high side. So it was looking like he was migrating towards that middle line through 1 as well. So 8 laps to go, anybody's race really, and I'd buckle up because this is sure to be an exciting finish here. Just gonna have to hold your breath for these final 8 laps here.
For sure. Somehow the 5 car is going to go from doing some agriculturing to a top 5 finish here. That's definitely going to be something that's very impressive.
Well, I wouldn't say that too quickly here, Michael, because we know how crazy these restarts can be. You can go from first to just about to the rear of this pack, all in 1 corner, with how really spread out and how wide they get in the corners. But definitely a great rebound for the 5 of Joseph Tice as of now, in the 6th position, hoping to get into that top 5 before the end of tonight. He still has 8 laps before we finish out this race. Your top 5 is there. Sharon Tarian going to start first for this restart. Nick Massey second, Corey Hoover third, Carl Shedd fourth, and Austin Hartenfels fifth, as the pace car is just about to pull down pit road here.
A very quick green flag here, just as the pace car pulls off the track.
Absolutely, green
looks
flag.
Like the 38 car got a great start, and so did the 45 car, leading the bottom line to kind of wonder what happened there. So not the 3 wide entry into turn 1 like I thought.
.38 going to be able to clear them. 45 going to barely make it in front of Nick Massey there.
Oh, as the 28 is spinning in the back. And another caution. I think we might have a 2-lap shootout.
I'm thinking you might be right. 2, 3, or 4 to go, but a lot of damage to the 28 of Ryan Dyson there. We'll take a look at what happened to Ryan. Oh, got forced 3 wide there, and looked like he came down just a little bit there on what I believe was the 44 of Michael Laraya. And as you said, another restart.
Well, I actually want you, Justin, if you can, to go back to the very start of that corner. It all starts with the 14. It looks like he goes into the corner and almost starts to go 4 wide, pressuring the 94 car of Adam de Blasio, which makes the 94 car kind of move up, drive a little bit deeper into the corner, which gets into the 44 car, pinches the 44, gets the 44 a little bit loose. So now they're 3 wide, farther up the racetrack than I think the 28 of Ryan Dyson thought they were. So I think the real start of that accident really started going into turn 1.
So these guys coming up to the pace car again. Don't imagine they're going to come down pit road again. But so another restart and then another, I have to imagine, crazy restart as again 3 wide into 1. I don't think it gets much crazier than that. They can't fit 4 wide in there. So not a lot of movement in that top 5. With that restart, just about the same. Joseph Tights has actually moved his way up into the top 5 in 5th. Austin Hartenfels has moved back to the 6th position.
Yeah, that was such a good restart by the 38. You know, it's almost like the 48 car is having some tea and you know, having a donut or something. He snaps. So, the 45 car is definitely going to have to get a lot better restart if he's going to want to have a shot, as it looks like we had some fakers, but nobody's really coming down pit road there. I don't think anybody really was planning on it. But we're going to have to see if the bottom line kind of fails like it did on that restart. If it does, that really makes the 38's job really easy for the first lap after the restart.
As you can see there, the 37 looked like he's going to get the wave around here. 15 laps down, and looking like he got that car back out with some pretty heavy engine damage, it looked like. And basically just riding around for points at this point, so. Thinking gonna get a restart with 4 or 3 laps to go, depending on if we get 1 to go here, but either way, if we get a caution after that, this race will be over, and who's ever in front at that point will be the winner of this race.
Yeah, you know, I think this is the most incidents in contact that we've seen the 44 car be in all year. You know, it was almost like going into the race, he lost all of his luck. So we'll have to see if maybe he can pull off, you know, some few spots here and get back up there, maybe back to the top 5. It's going to be extremely difficult, but it's definitely a lot different than we normally see where he's at. Well, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say, Justin, that the 38 car is going to pick the top side again here. You know, just because he got such a good run the first, you know, coming to the green flag last time, that's almost a, you know, a future seeing that he's not going to take the bottom.
Absolutely, with how great of a start he got last time around, as the 94 of Adam de Blasio was stopped in the exit of turn 3 there. Not sure what's going on with that car. It's looking like he was just waiting for Tom Story to come around, but if the pace car light's not coming off this time, it'll be a restart with 3 laps to go. And
yeah, odd. I wonder what the 94 car is doing, because he had a, you know, I think he was running 6th there, coming down pit road. It almost sounds like he doesn't have any power.
Some interesting developments with that. Just shame, yeah, he's going to fall all the way back to about the 14th position here, as you said was going to restart in about the 7th position, but it's looking like a struggle here tonight for the 94, and going to make his night go from bad to worse there, but. So yeah, this 38 most likely going to be restarting on the outside lane there, this 45 on the inside, and really only has 3 laps to do it. Michael, with the lack of passing spots really around this racetrack, is 3 laps really going to be enough for Carl Shed to be able to do anything?
Yeah, you know, I think it's plenty enough time. You know, things can change so quickly. It's really going to be a matter of if Carl Shed's going to be in second on after this restart? That's going to be the real question. Because the last time we saw the bottom lane got such a bad restart, Nick Massey almost lost third position. So it all depends on how good of a restart the 45 car of Carl Shed gets here.
Alright, so the lights on the pace car should be coming off this time by as they are. So 4 laps to go, coming to green. 3 laps to go, another caution comes out. This race is over, and who's ever out in front is going to victory lane. Certainly would like to see it end under green, but as we know, as we saw last time, these restarts can always get a little bit hectic. So your top 5 going to be Shane Terrian, Carl Shed, Nick Massey, Corey Hoover, and Joseph Tice. That's going to be the top 5. Not exactly sure if that's how they're going to finish tonight at the checkered flag, but that's going to be your top 5 with the restart coming to 3 laps to go.
If this is the way that it's going to finish, or a certain version, look at the parity in the top 5 right now. We have, 2 people who are searching for their first, 3 people who are searching for their first wins this season. No, 4 people, sorry. For some reason, I'm seeing different numbers than what's actually on the car, so I'm trying to do it by name. And then we have 1 person that only has a win on a road course. So this is extremely exciting, for the top 6 here, with drivers who are just looking. Nobody's done it, so it's going to be something new. Unless there's a massive accident, we're going to have a new winner tonight.
Absolutely, and that would be back-to-back new winners here in the London Recreational Cup Series here in round number 9, and the chase cutoff not too far behind, and not too many people on that board with that 44 on that win he went on that massive tear. So pace car going to be pulling off this time by, and once it does, the green flag going to be dropping here. So hold on tight. This should be a wild one. Pace car is off, and the green flag back out. Shane Terrian, a great restart there. Looked like he caught the 45 sleeping just a little bit.
Yeah, and the big thing here is that the 30 car can kind of get down on the 45's quarter panel and slow him down into the center corner, maybe get a good drive off. That's going to be a depending factor, because the 33 car might come out of here second, or these guys are going to go side by side going into the tunnel turn, which is going to be extremely difficult. And it looks like the 14 car is outside of the 48 car for a top 5 after being a lap down.
Yeah, he rocketed through turn 1, just about made it 4 wide there. A little bit of contact there between the 5 and 24. Grant going to be in the wall just a little bit. No caution yet.
And it looks like the 29 car might have gotten in the wall off of 2, opening the door for the 14 to go by.
So Terrian out to about a 0.5 of a second lead, coming to 2 laps to go.
Oh, the 9 car gets in the wall coming off 3.
And that's going to shuffle this pack all up, as everyone had to dodge to avoid him. So Trevor going to fall all the way back to the 14th position. Last car on the lead lap. 2 laps to go. Corey Hoover's only got 6 more shots at it to try and get to the back bumper of this 38.
Yeah, the one thing that's really nice here is, the last corner, you have several options. You have, multiple lanes, or you can run the same lane and see if you can just get to his back bumper and loosen him up a little bit. But it looks like he got it loose there, so it looks like we're going to come to 1 to go with the 38 car with probably about half a second lead.
Rounding turn number 3 here, coming to the white flag. The gap increases at the 38, or 33 gets a little bit loose, exiting the corner, white flag in the air. That gap keeps increasing for the 38 of Shane Terrian. The battle is really going to be, I think, at this point, for second between the 33 and 45.
Yeah, I think it all started right there on that restart with the 38 car of Shane Terrian getting such a good one. That it really left these guys in a hole to try to run him back down, as it looks like it's his race to lose coming into 2.
No big difference in the gap for the 38. He's going to round turn 3 there with basically no challenge. Definitely had a fast car. Started on the pole here tonight. And it's looking like he's going to finish where he started. Coming to the checkered flag, Shane Terrian going to win at Pocono.
Going to go back-to-back for Evil Motorsports and 2 first-time winners. And his teammate and the 14
oh, the 94 going to go around.
Is going to go from a lap down to a top 5 finish.
The 94 going to go around after the checkered flag. And the 9, Trevor Polo, not sure what happened to him. He floored it into turn 1 there after the checkered flag. But as you mentioned earlier, Michael, back-to-back first-time winners, and that's absolutely what we love to see. Gets a little bit stale when the same guy wins over and over. So great to see that chase grid grow a little bit more, and glad to see another first-time winner on the board here for the season.
Yeah, it's extremely exciting, you know, when we get to see multiple winners, especially such good races, and especially when I continue to pick the winner.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, my pick had a little bit of incident early, and he's going to wind up finishing 4th or 11th there, just behind the 38 of Shane Terrian. So Shane going to come around to the front stretch, do some burnouts, and while he does that, going to step away for just a second, get everyone filed in here for interviews, take you through everybody finished, and then talk to our winner. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Just wrapping up tonight's event here from the Tricky Triangle, the London Recreational Racing Pocono 200 here tonight, and our back-to-back first-time winners here. Shane Terrian going to go to victory lane, and we'll take you through everybody else finished here tonight. Corey Hoover going to wind up second here tonight. Carl Shedd third. Nick Massey fourth. Michael Fendelson, a great rebound, finishing fifth here tonight. Chris Wright sixth. Austin Hartenfeld is going to come home seventh. Joseph Tice, another great rebound, going to come home eighth. Jacob Adams 9th, and Raleigh Grant Davis going to come home 10th. Then Michael Araya 11th, Adam de Blasio 12th, Trevor Apollo 13th, Jamie Dyson 14th, Jesse Carr 15th, Ryan Dyson 16th, Sean Powell 17th, Tom Story 18th, and Brian LaPrade, Trevor Elam never took the grid. So now we'll bring in our winner here tonight, Shane Terrian. Shane, you got us?
I got you.
All right, well, finished where you started here tonight, up front in first, and seemed like you had arguably the best car out here tonight. Walk us through your race.
I don't even know where I got that speed, honestly. That just kind of blew my mind. I wasn't even expecting to win. I just wanted a good top three because I haven't been fast at all this season, which has been off for me. But yeah, I don't even really know. I just kind of held my line, stayed smooth, and kind of pulled it off in the end.
No, yeah, I picked you tonight, so I appreciate taking me to victory lane again, as I am now in a commanding lead in our fantasy standings. So, but my one question I got to ask is, you said you found that speed really out of nowhere tonight, but it seemed like to me, a guy that always loves to be sideways, you just seemed to be the straightest car out there tonight. You got to the gas off the corners, and it just stuck. Was that something that you went into the race thinking, if I could just keep the car straight, not start getting it sideways, is that something that's going to help me get to victory lane?
Oh yeah, because I had a practice session yesterday and it was sliding everywhere. And I looked at the tire wear. I was like, the only way, because UER has been caution free lately, and I'm like, the only way I'm going to win this race is if I save my tires. So I had to change up my driving style, and it definitely paid off.
Well, it was a heck of a job, and it's always exciting to get to see new winners during the season. So congratulations, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so we'll bring in our second place finisher here, Corey Hoover. Corey, you got us?
Yeah, I got you guys. How are you?
Pretty good. And for you, it seemed like the car was a handful at times, but going to bring it home second with looking like not a scratch on it, but the way that car is handling at times, looking like it could have been a different story.
Yeah, I certainly had a few brown stain moments, to say the least. Yeah, I really enjoy the tracks that you have to especially shift at and really wheel the car off the corners. Kind of drives like a road course if you think about it with the pit stop strategy and how loose it was. But yeah, fun race. Started in 10th. I'm really glad I got through the field as fast as I did. I knew that was going to be one of the challenges. Had a really bad qualifying session. But yeah, congrats to Shane on winning. And yeah, it was a really fun race.
And really quick, that's one thing I kind of thought about because you were so good at the road course. This track being, three different corners, I kind of compared it to a road course, and it seems like you kind of agree. So go ahead, Michael.
I just got two real quick questions for you, Corey. One was, on that last run there, it seemed like you started making headway, and the 14 car kind of got in your way there, and it kind of slowed your momentum down. But before that, like I said, you were catching them. What did you see that you were able to gain on the 38 car? Was it just the 2 laps extra on tires? Because it seemed like once you got past a few laps, you and the 29 car seemed to be the best. Was it something that you guys saw that everybody else was lacking, or was it just something that you guys just both did naturally?
Yeah, we had I think we had 2, like you said, 2 laps on them on fresher tires. It does a lot, but it doesn't do enough to catch them in drastic amounts. So yeah, that was the strategy, just to almost put it as a qualifying session qualifying lap every single lap to try to catch him. And then I saw the 14 coming, and then after a couple of laps, he just started racing me hard. I knew exactly what he was doing since they're teammates, but I mean, if I was in that situation, I'd probably do the same to help a teammate out. But yeah, Fenderson, he raced me clean. I had no problem with it. It was just a shame we couldn't catch him and battle him for the lead. It's a shame the caution came out. I think we could have caught him if that last caution hadn't came out.
And that was going to be my next question. Had it stayed green there, do you think that you would have gotten to the back of the 38 car, and how long do you think it would have been for you to get around him? Like, what lane would you have chosen? Getting in 3, because it seemed like that was the place where you could make the biggest move for whatever reason. But it kind of seemed like it just came from either lane. You could do it on the top or on the bottom. What was your preference in 3 and 3 tonight?
I mean, I've always ran the line of just entering it, kind of almost diamonding the corner, just running in deep and then letting it settle. And we were shifting the whole night. I was actually shifting in the tunnel turn sometimes just to make up some ground, but it got kind of sketchy after a couple of laps, as you saw. But yeah, we were shifting through three, and you just kind of cut it down and try to get the most straight possible line coming off the corner. But yeah, when the 14 got in the way, and I let him by when I knew that I wasn't going to hold him off because I knew he had fresher tires, and I was just trying to like stay in his draft and thought I'd draft up to him and catch him that way. But yeah, it's so hard to pass once you catch someone. I mean, they always say catching someone is harder or is easier than passing them, especially at this track.
Well, it was a good run. It's nice to get up here and talk to you again. Like you said, it had a little bit of road course in it. But next week we go to Daytona, so maybe we'll talk to you again there. So good luck next week, and have a good night.
All right, looking forward to talking to you guys next week. See you.
All right, so we'll bring in our third place finisher now, Carl Shed. Carl, you got us?
Yeah, I got you, sir. How you doing?
Pretty good. It's a pretty good thing to be talking to you and quite a lot. I mean, you're definitely making it to the checkered flag in the top three. So tonight it seemed like the car was good at times and then kind of fell off at some points. And definitely for a lot of these guys, it seemed like it was a very difficult handling racetrack tonight.
Yeah, it's a really hard track to kind of keep your eye on how fast you should be going at any given moment, right? You come out of the pits, your car's been sluggish and slow, your right rear is getting a little loose and haggard. You come out, you start pushing that first lap, and the difference in the feel in every corner is so significant that you forget how hard to push the car. So it's really easy here to give up after a green flag pit stop. So you're doing that, and then you're also mentally trying to determine how to save a little bit of tire for the long run, which when you're chasing guys 10 seconds ahead of you, takes more discipline than I have. So yeah, it's a tricky track. It was a lot of fun though.
Yeah, it was extremely fun to watch. It seemed like everybody was kind of swatting flies inside their front windshield. So, but like you said, it's extremely difficult to catch somebody that's 10 seconds in front of you while you're trying to conserve tires. What was your plan going into the race? Was it to stick to the strategy that you were on, or did you kind of alternate it a little bit when those guys got such a big lead and it was hard to run them down?
Yeah, we had decided, we're all still confused about this tire model. And, I was asking the guys, I was like, okay, if you've got a race, you're going to go do 2 stops. The math says split it into 3 equal distances, and that's going to be the fastest overall race average, right? And they're like, yeah. And it's like, what in the world is going on? Where are we getting beat by guys that are staying out 2 or 3 laps every time? So, we decided we were just going to stick with our 27.54. So, those guys, we come out there 10 or 12 seconds ahead, and the measurement is, if you can catch them by 54 by your next pit, if you've passed them, then you've got a winning strategy. Nothing else goes wrong and you drive a good race, right? So when we caught those guys on lap 51, I was like, all right, we got a good shot. Nick Massey, he was probably one of the fastest guys on the track tonight. I think he might have had that in the bag if we had gone green. So hate to see that for him, but it was good to see Shane Terrian get up there and get it done. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, it's becoming a regular thing. We have to get you a nice seat up here in the booth with us, because it seems like we're starting to talk to you every week now. But like I said, congratulations for going to Daytona next week. Not a place where you can almost guarantee a win, but maybe that'll be the place that you can take it to victory lane for a points-paying event, and we'll see you next week.
And for Michael, it's good talking to you as always, man. I appreciate you and Justin, and thanks to my teammates and UER for a good show, and have a good night, fellas.
You too. All right, so tonight it was looking pretty clean and green here tonight for the London Recreational Racing Pocono 200 until around 15 laps ago, and then seemed like cautions bred cautions, and another first-time winner here tonight, Michael.
Yeah, once the top kind of boils off, that's when things start happening. Cars start getting sideways and they start running into each other. But it's a great race. We love seeing these guys run green flag. It's very interesting. But it's always that little bit, of something you kind of, it's like when you go to a movie, you don't really watch the credits, but sometimes there's some stuff in there, it's a little extra. So when these guys get a caution, especially a late race one, it's really entertaining to watch. It's fun. We got to see some side-by-side racing, some cars running into each other, something we just don't see often when we get to see green flag racing. But congratulations to Shane Therian there. I've seen him. I've raced with him before. He's a great racer and well-deserved.
So the UpperEdge Racing League heads to Daytona next week, but this Saturday, the High Voltage Racing League heads to Talladega for their second race in round 1 of the championship race. Michael, how are you standing in that?
If I would have been a little bit more patient and understood the position that I was in last week, I wouldn't be in the situation I am now. But I'm going to try to go there, try to lead a lap, maybe go for a win, but got to do some points racing. I'm a little behind, so definitely put myself in a hole. But it's always fun when you gotta go to a racetrack like that and you gotta go for a win.
Absolutely. So this Saturday, Talladega for the High Voltage Racing League. Race Clark will be back in the booth for that one. But tonight, we thank you for watching. For Michael Skinner, I'm Justin Kolb. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next Saturday or this Saturday.
Have a good one.